To me, the term game changer represents someone, as I used to play basketball, someone who changes the status of the game. So you could be winning or losing, and that person makes a type of impact that changes the whole dynamic of the game, changes the paradigm of the game. And in the realm of public policy, politics, and those type of things, a game changer to me is someone who is an independent thinker, someone who has the wherewithal to make change happen, and is not fearful of the consequences within the political sphere. What I do today is serve as chairman of the Public Service Commission. I used to serve as a legislator before that and a planning commissioner in the city of North Miami prior to that. While serving in the legislature, I was involved in a lot of telecommunications issues and energy issues. It was interesting to me that once we passed the laws and got them through, and then for their implementation, there was always sort of a gap in between what was intended and then what was actually being done. And during that particular time that I served in the House of Representatives down in Florida, there was quite a level of dysfunction at the Public Service Commission. So I thought it was necessary that individuals who understood the intent of the law would be represented at the Public Service Commission, and the other thing, to bring a certain level of normalcy and collegiality at the Public Service Commission. So that's one of the reasons I decided to apply for the position at the Public Service Commission. Today, we are a very functional body. We may not always agree with each other, but we are always collegial with each other and with those that come before us. Number one, recognize what your convictions are. Understand that tactics don't undermine your principles, so that you can change your tactics while maintaining true to your principles. Understand that in order for you to be a game changer, or someone who is going to make a real difference, you have to be a strategic thinker, be able to build alliances, and do what is appropriate for the whole, and not just the interest that you are beholden to, whether that's your direct community. But if you have a role and a responsibility that involves more than just one community, that you always have to think for the whole and not just for the interest of a specific few. And what I do now, the main principle that guides me is the public interest. And what that is balancing the interests of all of those that come before me. And in my case, as a public service commissioner, I have to deal with the consumers, the investor-owned utilities, and then I have to deal with the actual infrastructure and those type of things for the state which I work within, which is the state of Florida. Balancing all of those interests and ensuring that my decisions that I make today will positively impact the current situation, but also create a long-term trend towards moving us in terms of the appropriate position where we need to be. As a public service commissioner, the principles that guide me every day are one, being responsive to the public interest. And what that simply means is understanding the various interests that are at play. One, the consumers, the investor-owned utilities that we regulate, and then ensuring that there's always adequate service available for everyone within our state. Beyond that, I have to make sure that our rules are practicable and they make sense, but they're not a burden to those that have to go through the process of working through the rules, but provide enough protection so that those who are receiving the service receive the adequate type of protection. Those who provide the service can always go back to market and receive the investment necessary for them to provide the service at a rate that that makes sense for the end user. Yeah, I think so. If we can edit some of that stuff.
No, absolutely.